Welcome back to another review. Gosh, we're getting through these, aren't we? And this is the first review of February. And today we are looking at the Hornby Railroad Class 9F. But this is not just any old 9F. This is Evening Star, number 92220. Now, obviously, the story behind Evening Star, she was the last ever steam locomotive to be built by British Railways in 1960. And because she was so new, because obviously it was built at a time when steam engines were being phased out as new diesel engines were coming in. So because it was built so late, it was immediately signed up for preservation, and it stayed like that ever since. But the rest of the 9Fs were built from 1956, and it was the last British Rail standard design. But over 200 9Fs were built. The 9 stands for the power rating, so 9 means it's very powerful, and the F stands for freight. And today there are many, well, not many, but there are quite a few 9Fs preserved, including Evening Star, which is currently at the NRM in York. But anyway, let's have a look at the locomotive in detail. Wow, just look at her. Isn't she beautiful? Wow. Just look at the coupling and connecting rods. Just look how neat it is. 10 driving wheels and the two front wheels. So it's a 210, and if you notice, the middle wheel is flangeless. Now this is not just on the model; it was also in real life. Basically, there were so many wheels that it just couldn't go round really tight corners. But in fact, the adjacent wheels, the other wheels, had a reduced flange depth, I believe, which meant that considering how many wheels it had, it could go round rather tight corners. Not really tight corners, but you know, quite tight corners for such a big engine. But wow, just look at her. Because it's a standard design locomotive, everything's on the exterior, so you can see the large reverse. No, it's not the reversing, but the reversing bars there. You can see the reversing bar. When I was in the cab of Evening Star at York, and I was turning the reverse, and I tried out the reversing handle, and and it is on the exterior. And the standard designs were, you know, all about simplifying locomotives. So if something broke, then it was easy to fix. Didn't need, you know, that's why British Railways rebuilt the Bullied Pacifics, the West Country class, and the Merchant Navies, because they were just too. Well, they rebuilt all of the Merchant Navies, but not all of the West Countries. The West Countries, 50 of them stayed in the original shape, the boxy span cam shape. But basically, they rebuilt those and simplified them, because the maintenance costs for those just way too high. Whereas for the standard designs, they were cheaper to run and easier to maintain. So yeah, it was British Railways policy basically. But anyway, just look at this model. For a railroad model, you get sprung buffers, which is incredible. I removed the front coupling at the front, as you can see. I removed the front coupling there. You get a dummy coupling there, and a brake pipe, which I've added as well. Just look at the front, 92220. It's got a very characteristic look of a 9F. Yeah, and there's the name, Evening Star. But the thing that is most striking is the livery. Look at the livery. It's beautiful dark green, Brunswick green with red and black stripes. Just look at that. Absolutely amazing. And all this detail, you get very nice handrails and all this pipe work. It's very nice. Some of it's moulded on because it is a railroad model after all. But for a railroad model, it is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Get a very nice copper capped chimney, double chimney, as you can see. Safety valves. Very nice dome and whistle is at the back here. And the cab roof vents, which do not open, but you know, it's a railroad model. It's meant to be simplified, just like the real thing. But you know, well, it's not like the Bachmann Evening Star, which is, you know, right up to premium standards. This is, you know, more for people on a budget, but it's worth it. You know, you get your money's worth. You even get cab windows. That's absolutely amazing. 92220. If we look in the cab, you can see I've added these two crew members for fun. But you do get cab detail on the back head. It's not painted, but it's understandable. After all, it is a railroad model. And there's a connection to the tender. What else? Wow, just look at that pipe work there. Look at that. That is absolutely amazing. But the other side is just as nice. I love the wheels and the connecting rods. Let's get right up close on the camera can focus. Yep, there we go. Get a load of that. And I especially love this part here, where it just pumps in and out of the cylinders. I think that, well, it's obviously a normal thing, but I just like the motion of it, where it just pumps in and out. I think it's really cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the locomotive. Let's move on to the tender, which is just as nice. Just look at that. It's quite light, but you know, there's nothing much to see. And see, I saw you. Well, that's where the motor used to be for the tender-driven models, but you know. But you know, it is quite a light tender, but it has a fair amount of weight to it. It's reasonable. But again, sprung buffers. I've replaced the giant coupling with an M coupling, so I can pull that out. As you can see, but the reason why I've done that is so if I buy some Mark 1 coaches for her, then you know they'll probably be compatible, they'll be compatible. So probably some Bachmann Mark 1 coaches, although Hornby Railroad are releasing some Mark 1 coaches this year, but you know, Bachmann ones are quite good as well. But again, you get a brake pipe at the back, loads of rivets. I forgot to mention rivets, but look at that, all those rivets. And what I really like is the ladder. They've actually added ladder and all this these handrails and the water filler cap, and the coal is fake, but it looks really nice. It looks very nice. You get the very nice lake crest there, and rivets again. And on the axle boxes it says BR. Yep, you can see it says BR. Wow. And all those rivets on the axle boxes as well. And there's the pin which goes into the hole. Now, before we look at performance, I'll just show you how to couple these up, because it's not. I don't recommend you coupling them up while on the track, because it will be very difficult to do so. What you do is you sort of bend the tender backwards. Make sure that this part goes here underneath there, like so. And make sure that make sure it goes under there, and then line it up into the pin. Just push it down, and there you go, and put it on the track. And that's what we're gonna do now. Here we have the Hornby Railroad Class 9F Evening Star on the track, and wow, just look at her, absolutely beautiful. Look at her, show you around. Wow. So, I'll just zoom in on the wheels, and we'll get her going. Wow, look at that. I just can't help it. Just look at the wheels. Just look at the motion on the coupling and connecting rods. As well as that, just look how smoothly the locomotive actually runs. I forgot to mention she is a heavy locomotive. Damn, why did I forget to mention that? It's one of the most important things to mention. Wait. It is a heavy locomotive. She is a heavy locomotive, so she'll have absolutely no problem with traction whatsoever. But you know, it suits her. She is a freight locomotive after all. Look at her. Let's get a few line side shots of her. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. What a locomotive she is. In conclusion, only 3 words sum this video up. Buy her now. Seriously, I do. Highly recommend her to any steam enthusiast or anybody modelling a 1960s era layout. Yeah, I recommend her to anybody. And obviously, if you're a more serious modeler, you'd be choosing the Bachmann one. But if you're on a budget, I recommend this one, and then you could, you know, make her look more realistic. Wow, but I still recommend her. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you in the next review.